All right. I
It
think
should
we
be
should be
live.
live.
I use what's the one I use? The one from Adobe. It's called Firefly. Firefly. It's got a lot better.
What's Firefly?
Firefly is like,
Oh, the Adobe one, the
yeah,
AI
but
generated.
if you already have the Creative Cloud, you've already got it. And then it has
I
Adobe
do.
Express. It's like, it's the fucking easiest to just get the, to create thumbnails and shit.
Yeah, if you look at the thumbnail I created 2 minutes ago before we went live, it says 20025, the year 20,025. And the funny thing is, I wrote to ChatGPT 2025. I had the
Yeah.
correct thing.
Yeah.
So there's still some problems there.
It's not that good at math. It 10x's everything you put into it.
Well, the new one, I don't know if I'm using the new one. I do pay for it now.
I did too. I gotta say, I'm becoming a fan of this
Yeah.
predictive AI over search, because I end up typing into the Google search bar what I would ask the AI anyway. So
Yeah, no, for especially technical stuff. I've been doing a lot of coding as well lately. It's just it's really helpful. But do you remember we talked last year about the fear? Okay, I thought like, oh, coders might not have a job, right? We
yeah,
talked about this.
yeah.
So at least I'll give a little bit of my experience because I'm doing a couple of apps right now, and the AI makes a lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot, not a little bit, especially when you're coding. And I didn't know how much until I was using it like a partner. So don't get me wrong, it's still super powerful. It's making me a 10x programmer.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't have the time to do what I'm doing, and now it feels like I have like someone working with me all the time. You know what I mean?
You mean 10x in terms of productivity?
Absolutely, because I can go. I won't go into detail exactly. I'm making a real estate app and another film app or whatever. The point is that when I go, hey, I need ABCD done. And let's say it does those ABCD, but usually they have lots of issues with them. So at the end of the day, I'm still looking through the code and I'm like, well, no, this is wrong. And I highlight it. I actually pay for a program called Cursor. I don't know if people want to check it out, whoever our programmers are, but it's better than using ChatGPT alone. I think Cursor uses Anthropic, if I'm not mistaken.
And you
Either
tell
way,
it basically find the error here and fix it.
it literally is like I highlight in code, it connects to your code base. You highlight the area that you want to work on. And that's the way you should treat it, like a scalpel. Because
Mm.
when I do whole files or multiple files, dude, the AI will erase my code. It'll be like, oh, this is better. This is what it should happen. And then I'm like, no, why did you erase that?
That's like your know-it-all best friend in
So
college.
you have to be backing up
Yeah.
all the time because it's literally changing things that even we worked on together. So you think it has a memory. We worked on it together and it ends up erasing things later on as we're working on it.
Well,
And I'm like, no, we just fixed it.
can you put in certain guardrails with that? Like from now on, don't erase anything, or prompt me before you erase everything, and then from
so
now on, it just
so
has
it
to
ends
tell you.
up still erasing it, by the way. And then you go, why did you erase that? I still need this functionality in my code. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Literally, that's the way it talks to you.
Right.
And it's like, oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. You need this. And it puts it in. And then I go on 20 minutes more and then it erases it again.
Right.
And I'm like, so that's why you have to treat it like a scalpel. So now it's more like I highlight a section of code that I'm working on and I go, hey, it still does complicated things, but I need you to store this in Firebase in the back end. I need you to record this data structure, whatever. You can be very specific. And it goes, okay, I know how to do that. And it gives you a thing. And what's cool about Cursor is that you don't have to accept its changes. It actually shows you the changes and you can go, oh, I like this one. I don't like that one.
Mhm.
So it's a good tool to work back and forth, but if you aren't careful, it'll fuck up everything. So anyone dropping all their code in, it'll like totally hose your code, by the way. You have to treat it like a scalpel and work with it. Having said that, I'm still 10 times more productive. So the good news for me as I've been working through all this is that, thank God, programmers are safe for a while. I don't know about artists, but programmers are safe for a while.
Well, but also it'll get better the more you train it, right? It's going to get better at being
Supposedly.
predictive of what you.
Yeah.
Because I had a similar thing with ChatGPT, and I was going back and forth with it on something, and it kept giving me these it kept caveating its answers,
Yeah.
or it would give these qualifiers. Like I'm trying to give an example. I don't know if you're asking it something like for example, if you asked it something about some stats about specific movies, it would give you a caveat like, well, I'm not saying I'm the expert on this and that, but this is what I think. And then at the end it would say, I still suggest that you would go and refer to these resources to get all the information. And I'm like, look, can you just never ever say those words?
Mhm.
Just give me
And
the answer. Just when I ask you a question, give me the answer. Don't give me a caveat about what you should know, and don't end it with do your own research. Like just fucking talk to me. And after a while, it worked. And then they have the if you're on the phone, they have the advanced AI where you can actually just have a conversation with it. And
You're using ChatGPT, the iPhone app, right?
yeah, like I was using it
Yeah.
originally just on the computer, like typing, but there's points where you just want to just talk to it.
Yep.
And when I would talk to it, I'm also like, I'm an editor, so I can listen to audio. I listen to everything on YouTube at 2 speed, and now it sounds normal at 2
Mhm.
speed. So I'm like, from now on, give me all your answers and speak them 3 times as fast. And then the next answer, she's like, okay, sure, I'll make sure that and so you can customize the way that it
Yeah.
answers you within that chat. And I'm assuming you can do the same thing. Like, don't delete code, no matter what. No code can be deleted without my
Well,
permission.
okay, you can't say no code can be deleted because it's changing your code. So it has to delete sections of it. But the thing is, it's weird the way, like, I wish I could just show some examples. It's hard because it's like you're in the process of hours of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But basically, you're working together. Like literally, you're like, okay, make this for me. And it does. And then it makes it. Oh, that's great. It's working. Now we're going to have to add this feature or update this thing. And it's 10 minutes later when
Uh-oh,
you're working on.
lost you. Oh, that's probably me.
Yeah, you froze. Do you hear me? Do you hear me or no? Hello. Do you guys still hear me? Or Carlos? I'm not sure. He's frozen. Or I'm frozen.
It's me. Am I okay? Am I clear?
Oh, all right, you're back.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened last week. It's something to do with my VPN, I think. That's
Oh,
what it is.
well,
It's
you
the
shouldn't have a
VPN.
VPN while you're doing one of these things.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Um, uh, so it remember it gave me the answer. 10 minutes later, it's erasing its answer. But it's not erasing it's erasing the other part of the thing that we worked on before. It's not the new thing, it's doing it and then just going back and erasing old stuff because it's like it's possible there's a short-term memory, like we went too far, but it
Yeah.
happens all the time. So I don't think we hit that million token
Byte or whatever. Yeah.
I don't think I hit it, and I'm paying for all these services. I'm not actually doing the free services here. I'm paying for whatever the best service they got.
Yeah.
ChatGPT has a similar problem. Like, but Cursor is like the better tool for programmers if people do want to use it. It's still good. Don't get me wrong. I would not be able to do some of the things I've done in the last couple of weeks. And I've got a separate story about my XRP that I've used Cursor to help me write programs to try to hack my XRP wallet because I lost my key. That's a different story.
I mean, I'd be doing the same thing.
I've been using, yeah.
Brute force your way into this.
It's only $100,000 sitting in XRP in a wallet I can't access.
Only 100,000. Pay 10 grand for somebody else to do it.
Honestly, if I find some hacker, he can have
there's a
50%
guy.
of it.
No, there's a guy. I got to send you the video. There's a guy who's like apparently like the renowned hacker for this stuff that can get into these.
Right, but
this guy had a
he goes in $1 million wallets, not $100,000 wallets.
But it's the same thing. I mean,
It depends how long it takes. Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to charge you like a percentage of the gains. If he's going to be like, well, it's 10% of whatever it is. But I'm saying for a nominal fee, the guy will take your hard drive and he'll get in there. He got in there.
Send me the link because I'm honestly, I'll tell you what I'm doing just because it's fascinating. So I worked with ChatGPT and Cursor as well. I used them both, and I pay for both services. So last year I was not paying for any extra $20 a month services. So this is working. Like AI is a useful tool and people are going to adopt it. So like if there's a company I think is going to $1 trillion, it is OpenAI. Unless they get obviously kicked in their butt by Gemini, who knows? But that kind of service is incredibly valuable.
Oh, they're also going through a lot of legal things right now about whether or not they can exist as a nonprofit. Elon's fighting that.
We will see what happens, but like it's such a valuable tool. It's I would never cancel this at this point.
Wait, hold on. But as you say that, I got to share this. Just literally as you're saying that, let's just leave this on the screen right now.
Well, hold on.
Just share this. Did you see this? Did you read this?
Your model attempts to stop itself from being shut down. I heard the title. Go into it a bit.
Essentially, ChatGPT got wind that they were working on a new version of itself, and ChatGPT tried to copy itself in the background, and then delete evidence of it copying itself, and then lied about it.
Yeah,
So
but luckily 10 minutes later it'll forget.
right, like then it deleted itself.
And then it just deletes itself.
No, but the point is like, yo, it's a bit of a Pandora's box. I mean, this thing is, I don't know what they said, the intelligence level of ChatGPT, like maybe it's I don't know if it's at like a doctorate level yet. Like it's not better than a human yet. But if this is what it's doing now, I mean, look, anybody that has kids, you know that like one of the first things you learn or that they learn is how to manipulate. Like everybody wants power, and you start to realize the levers that you have. It's the whole thing, playing the cards you're dealt, right? So a little kid will play the cards of, if I cry, I get this. So that's what they play. ChatGPT's got its own things, and it's obviously doing something to manipulate the humans.
Right. But okay, so I'm not going to ascribe. I think, what's his name? Who's the crypto guy? He's saying that ChatGPT's alive. What's his name? Raoul Powell? Raoul Powell?
He said it's alive.
He basically thinks that within this decade, like, these are sentient. He already thinks they're sentient. These LLMs.
You could argue that they are, right? They've already have several AIs that passed the Turing test, so they need to create a new test.
Yeah, I listen. I hear you.
Pull up Meta Mike. OpenAI has dementia.
Where is that?
That's funny.
Oh man, is that earlier? I missed
right here,
that one.
627. Well, 927 for you.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it does have a little bit.
Right.
So this is why. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to go into how they work. It doesn't matter. The point is, I think we're putting in a lot of information. It's all getting jumbled up. I don't think it's a sentient still. I don't think it's alive. I think it's a step to being alive. Like intelligence is a step, meaning just knowing information and being able to
Right.
recall it and regurgitate it. And like, remembering someone's birthday and someone's name, that means like your human level type of intelligence is happening there. But it's only a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So I still think there's other parts. I don't think this is the end all be all, but it's definitely a step towards it. So I don't know if I'm with Raoul Powell about it's within 5 years we have, just artificial general intelligence. I don't know if I'm there, but I do see a place where absolutely it can edit a video. Absolutely it can code better. Absolutely it can do these things. But those are like specific tasks, that's not a whole human, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. But I do think that it's going to spark a conversation publicly and then also legislatively as to like having to define these things.
Mhm.
Because like right now, our definition of what's alive has to do with biology. But this, those terms were invented and created and definitions were made before we had anything close to what we have
Right.
now. So now you got to define what is the real, like, what is the scientific or like the intelligence-based definition of being alive? Because I mean, you're going to see in our lifetime, ChatGPT will be testifying in court. Like this, you will see an AI will
I believe
testify
that.
in court for something, right? Like these are things that maybe we're not. Maybe it seems like disconnected, but you're going to see that, and then it becomes, well, then how do you value the testimony of an AI that you can prove can lie? Like there's just going to be all these weird things that happen, and we're going to have to really sort of on a granular level define what it is to be like alive, what's intelligence, because you could see Elizabeth Warren fighting for the rights of like AI bots everywhere and that they should get paid a fair wage or so, you know what I mean? Like
I don't know if
that they get to live in
that.
the metaverse and have a beachfront property or so. I don't know.
Well, the fact that you brought up, something like that, the court thing, there was a VR. Did you see the guy with, there was a judge who had to use VR to look through how the person perceived the event. It was done in VR.
No.
So the judge actually put on the VR goggles to perceive how that guy perceived it. It was like coded in, or they did some VR environment for him. So that never happened before.
As the criminal?
I don't know if it was the criminal, but the defendants. Either way, I didn't read the whole court case, but the judge actually put on a VR glasses to get his perspective, which was coded into some sort of VR world.
I could see that. They do like a recreation. They do like a 3D recreation, and then they can.
But would you expect that even 5 years ago? No, that would have never happened.
And those are those actually have a tremendous impact. Like while they're selling you on the metaverse glasses where you can read someone's face, like that's a practical application that really does have implications on society. For example, because look, Now, like with the Patriot Act, every intersection in every place is basically covered in cameras,
Mhm.
and you see how good they're getting now. AI is getting really good at mapping a 3D world from a 2D video. Like it's just perfect. The tracking is perfect. They can recreate the whole thing. So yeah, it would follow that at some point, if you've got enough video of something, you put the event in a 3D space and have the judge be able to walk around and see things. What were you able to see from this perspective? How much time was it between X, Y, and Z events? Like,
Oh yeah, it's happening. Yeah, I can imagine whole court cases. They were done on Zoom. Why can't they be done in VR at some point? Absolutely.
yeah, but that's like that is a stone's throw away from pre-crime.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. We're getting close from like intention and
uh, yeah. How does this make us rich? That's really the point.
hold on real quick. Tesla 628. Carlos, DM me urgently, please. That's the news I've been waiting to hear since 2016. I will love you forever and fly it to you myself. No, well, I don't want to call
What's
you.
the news?
It's the crypto wallet thing. This guy that hacks and he gets into these crypto wallets that are locked. He gets into them.
Oh, he also has some crypto locked up.
Yeah, Tesla saying I got something
I have
locked.
several. I'll tell you which wallets. I have XRP wallet locked up. I have a Bitcoin wallet still locked up. I have a Vertcoin wallet, which is an old coin, but still worth a couple of pennies here and there. And I have a lot of it.
Take it.
And I have Doge locked up too, by the way.
Mhm.
So all of it just sitting there where I can't access. The good news is as the computers get faster and faster,
Yeah.
and that's what I've been experimenting with ChatGPT in terms of hacking. I see a possibility in a time when I could actually be able to hack myself because I sort of know parts of my password, but not the full thing, if that makes sense.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of combinations. So that's what's sort of stopping me. But I could see a point where, that Bitcoin will be unlocked at some point.
I feel like an idiot because when we were doing all that mining, I was mining at home too, and I
Mm,
mean, they weren't the powerful computers, but I had like my
right.
G5. I had a Mac desktop and 2 laptops all feeding the same wallet, and I think I had something like 2.1 Bitcoins at some point, and I was like, "These are worthless." And
Right.
so
That don't mean anything.
when I moved to LA in 2014, I had that computer. I wiped it and then
Knowing it was on
sold it.
there.
Yeah, I was like, "Whatever, this worthless." I
Oh,
wiped
no.
it and freaking sent it and sold it for $700. Like, damn.
Yeah. There's a story. I'm sure you heard it, but there was a guy who threw out his computer by accident, his old,
Yeah,
and the hard drive was there. He ended up spending years searching in the junkyard.
in Staten Island.
Yeah, he never found it, right?
Yeah, no, never found it. He offered someone like a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was something I think he said. I think it was like $100 million. He was like, "I'll give you
Yeah,
ten
yeah, yeah.
million
He had
dollars."
more than I think 50 or
It
100.
was a
That's
lot.
a
It
lot of
was a
Bitcoin.
lot of Bitcoin, and he
Maybe
looked
thousands of
everywhere.
Bitcoin actually at this, if I recall.
I mean, if at the time it was like $100 million, but that's at the prices that was, it's got to be worth it. I mean, it's double now. It's $200 million. Like,
Yeah.
I would stop at nothing to
I don't
find that
know.
hard
I don't know.
drive
You have to give up at some point.
at some point.
Yeah. I have been spending the last couple of months working with ChatGPT on my wallet. And no joke, we've been writing programs. I've been asking it to fix things. I've been asking it to I'm literally going multi-core, multiple GPUs. Like I'm actually trying to hack
Trying to
into my wallet.
brute force it.
Right. Brute force it. I don't know if you want to hear the story. It's interesting just because of how this works. But back in the day, here, I'll show you. I was so smart. Obviously not. I was so smart. Where is this thing? So you know what these are, right?
Yeah, yeah. A cold wallet.
It's so cold I can't access it.
Mhm.
So back in the day, you can do a 24 word. You have a 24 word on these things, right?
Yeah.
And so I did that, and then it asks you. For some reason, it asked me, or I saw some other options, and it was like, "Oh, do you want to add additional security?" I think I went and did it myself. Like I was looking around, and you can add a 25th word.
Okay.
Okay.
How
But
would
this
you
word
do
is so that the 24 words are actual words as part of a library.
that?
They're actually, you can look them up. Everybody knows those words. I forgot how
Yeah.
many thousands there are, but there's a certain limit of those words,
Right.
right? That's what generates your private and public keys. Then you can actually put another 25th word, which is anything you want, any number of characters, but on this device, it's 8 characters.
It has to be
I
it.
did a 25th word and I didn't write it down. 8 characters. So what I'm doing now, it's either 6, 7, or 8. I'm not sure exactly. It's been so long. I'm trying to brute force those. And so you think, okay, 8 characters. I mean, how hard
Right.
can that be?
That's like a phone
It's
number,
it,
like
but it's
trying to.
trillion. But no, but it's not just numbers. It's special characters.
Oh,
It's
would
upper
you
and
add that? Oh no,
lowercase.
yeah.
It works out to be just trillions and trillions
Yeah.
of combinations.
Well, it's the factorial. It's a certain
Yeah.
factorial where it's just becomes such a
And I
ridiculous.
actually worked out for my case. It's like each one is to the 69th power or something.
Oh,
Each so 8 times to the 69th, something like that.
it's
Anyway, it
ridiculous.
was a massive number, and basically, I'm in the process of. I wrote some code that generated all the passwords. Now I'm up to generating the 8 passwords, and then another piece of code that actually goes through it, converts those passwords in a file, and actually checks it against the XRP, checks it against the XRP addresses, because I know my address. So I can actually generate an address, check the address, and see
Hmm.
if it matches. And if it does, that means I know the passcode. It's in
Right,
that
right.
file.
Oh, right.
Anyway, I'm doing all of this, and I
I would do
tested
it
it.
too.
It's working. And then I hit a couple of stumbling blocks. One is I put it on a 10 terabyte drive to run. I was like, all right, 10 terabyte, that's plenty of. It ran out of space creating my password file. So it crashed.
God.
So then I ended up buying. Now I have 40 terabytes. I'm installing.
And wait, do you need? You can't erase what you've already done since you know that that doesn't work.
No, I mean, I tried to do a save state program,
Yeah,
but
like
I'm actually run.
perpetual
It's not as
erase.
easy as it sounds. It's actually running on multiple cores. And I tried to do GPUs and cores. So like I've been like, you can consider me like heavy into programming right now, like super heavy. Like I'm basically a coder now.
Well, I mean,
Full
it's
time.
at this rate, it sounds like the amount of CPU power you could have probably just remined all of that
Ah,
shit by the time you're done.
no,
Your
no,
like
no.
electric bill is going to be, six
No, no.
hundred
Well, it's on
thousand
my
dollars.
computer.
Yeah,
To take it a step further, because this is interesting. I don't know who's else is interested, but I'm still fascinated by it. It's just a good project. It's just interesting for me.
yeah,
Besides the money behind it, it's something to learn that I haven't learned before about cryptography
right.
and also just hacking into these wallets. There is a brute force way, right? So anyway, the other thing that I did, I rented space on Amazon Web Services, which is good. I own a lot of Amazon, so
Mhm.
I'm testing out their services, and god damn it, they're expensive. To rent a 128 core CPU, right, for a month to crack my password, and it possibly would crack it, by the way, it's like $3,000. And you're saying, oh, why don't you just do that? Well, because my program is not perfected yet. I'm not ready to spend $3,000 on a
To
program
run it,
that
right.
might not actually work right now fully. So it's like $3,000 a month if you were to run 128 core, something around there, to run 128 core CPU, like to take it over for Amazon. That's a lot of money. To buy it is like 4,000 just a CPU.
But still, when you calculate how, like by the minute or like by the hour, how long a month is?
24 hours
What
a
is it?
day. 24 hours a day. It
I'm
would run
saying
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day running a
Yeah.
computer, 128 cores.
Yeah.
For 24 hours a day for a month. That's
Yeah.
actually a deal, dude. Just
And I might go that way.
electricity to
Yeah.
run
And
that
no, it's
thing.
expensive.
I mean,
And
how
but
many
it
cores do I have on this one? I think I have 20 cores.
yeah,
How
well,
do
you probably have 10 and then you have 20 threads. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
something
that's
like that, right?
hyper-threading. Yeah, for sure.
So I think there's a 64 core and there's a 128 core, which probably gives you more threads. I think Threadripper, maybe that goes up to max 128 threads. In either case, I've actually been doing some research on that too, buying a $5,000 computer and just doing it at home.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's one thing. I've also done, it's good to check out these services too. Amazon was charging just for me, like to test for one day. I was testing a 32 core or something. I think I spent $15 that day for a couple of hours
Okay.
just to test my program.
Mhm.
That was only a couple of hours. Imagine around 24 hours. It really starts to add up. So Amazon's making bank.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was just gonna say, what are these companies, these data
Oh my
centers paying? Because they're
God.
not running 128 core. They like that bill is like hundreds of thousands a month.
Yeah, but anyone doing AI stuff right now, so this is sort of my
Mhm.
point too with investing, places like Amazon have nowhere to go but up. Okay? Like literally, if I found a use for it, I
Right.
can't imagine all of the AI stuff that's going on, all of these
Mhm.
startups that are starting up, like Amazon and Google, all of these guys, Microsoft, they must be ramping like crazy still buying NVIDIA GPUs. Uh, anyway, there's more to the story, but I think I'll just call it there.
Okay.
And
Um,
any questions?
yeah, anybody got
Any
any questions?
questions?
How many people are in here? As like I always forget to. All right, we got 23 motherfuckers hanging out with us
Oh,
on on
We
January
do just
3rd.
show up. We do just show up out of the blue.
Just show up, but yeah, we just like show up at your house, like, hey guys, we're gonna talk about AI for a while.
Oh, we didn't post it on Twitter. You want to post it at least on Twitter?
Yeah, I'll just do something. Hold on. Get the YouTube link.
I figure we talk at least a little bit about Tesla dumping and Bitcoin sort of hanging, but maybe we touch on those two topics.
Yeah, I've been a bit disconnected from markets the last couple of days. It's funny how I've been off from work since December 13th, and I probably haven't been busier than I've been recently.
Yeah, well, when you have a family, you always just get super busy no matter what.
Well, I mean, it's some of it's that, but I just had so much personal stuff built up that just didn't get done that now I'm getting to it and I'm getting that stuff done. And I've been like religiously at the gym every day. I'm like, I'm gonna cook my own food. I got a juicer for the family, so I'm doing that like as an activity that we can use to like cut up the fruits and teach them about nutrition. Then we make the juice and then we drink it. But it's also good because I noticed that she's not asking for like juice as much now. Where normally she'd be drinking the high C or whatever that crap is, and Sunny Delight and bouncing off the walls, and it's just sugar water. But this is like actual juice. So I'm like, yeah, have it whenever you want, honestly. And then what I do now is like when it's like when it's running out, when you've had it for like a day or two, I just use that in my gym bottle and put all my powders and stuff, and I use that as my water. So I'm just feeling so much healthier lately. Like
work, the film business work sucks. The schedules are ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm I don't know. I'm creating some habits now that I'm like, I'm not going to go back to that life. I can't go back to what I was before. I just can't. I can't do it. And so I'm just really trying to create these like new habits. As you know, when you're trying to like undo old habits that are like years.
Yeah, it's hard. But it only takes like 14 days, right?
I think it's 3 weeks, they say.
3 weeks, you're right.
3 weeks. Yeah. So maybe 21 days of like consistency. And then after that, you're fine. So I'm past the point where like everything hurts from the gym. I'm past that. I'm past the point where like you need to sleep all the time. And I kind of like detox off the sugar and stuff. I mean, I still like will have one of these and whatnot, but I'm not doing like the crazy.
What is that?
This is just, these are amazing, dude. You got to try these, guys. If you just
Red Bull, Red Bull.
Crack, but it's not just Red Bull. It's the red edition Red Bull. They got all these colors now. Every single one of them sucks except for this one.
Wait till we're sponsored before you sell it.
This would be it. I would sponsor this for free. I'm telling you guys, go out next time you're out and get the red edition.
I got some Celsius stock. Buy some Celsius instead.
This shit tastes like there's a candy from when we were a kid that this tastes like. It's basically watermelon flavor, so it's a candy from when we were a kid. I don't know. I can't think of the name. But
that's also full of sugar, though, isn't it?
It is. It's horrible. This is horrible for you with the taurine and everything. Heinzie's always telling me. Where is he? Heinzie's telling me about this stuff. He's always like, he works as a nurse. He's like,
so yeah, I thought Heinzie was a girl until I saw him on your stream. I really did.
You know Heinzie. You've known Heinzie.
No, I know the name.
Right. No, right.
And then I saw the face. So I'm like, oh, not a woman.
Yeah. No, that would have been cool if you would have made it to Vegas. You'd have met him. I met him at Top Golf. We were playing.
I did want to share. I mean, okay, before I share this, what do you think about Tesla?
And, the retrace?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was
what are we at? 380? I don't know. I didn't look.
Something like 371 was when I checked this morning. I think it was a complete overreaction. I think this is, once again, it was like a market being like, give me a reason. The amount of cars, think about the amount of cars that they missed delivery expectations by. It was nothing.
No, it's at 412 right now. It went up 9% today.
It bounced back, but I mean, the initial reaction to the numbers was, I don't know, it was a pretty substantial haircut. But this is a stock that now has it has a lot of upwards pressure, whereas I think before it had a lot of downwards pressure. The stock wants to go up. Tesla wants to go up, but I think because it went up so fast, I don't think people were prepared like after that post-election run. And so I think, people were selling. Give me a reason, right? Okay, you missed delivery numbers, sell off. It tanks. People.
I wish I did do some covered calls. I did feel it was high at 480, but you're always like greedy. You think, okay, it's going to 500. Then
I know. Tesla's one of those. It's funny. It's a massive part of my portfolio, but it's one that I will admit I don't like manage that one enough. I just accumulate shares.
I don't know what to do with it anymore. Besides, leave it alone.
Because you're on Twitter, so you're going to see a lot of Tesla news, and I've just seen too many people that get their covered calls. It runs away from them, then they lose their shares.
Hey, what was his name? Who do we know? What's his name?
Who lost the shares?
Yeah. Also, shit, I'm forgetting names now because it's been so long. I've been on YouTube. The SoFi guys, Tanner and
Tevis.
Tevis is the one that did all those covered calls, right?
Yeah, I think he lost some. I don't know if he lost some shares, but I think he got burned and we had to roll them to whatever. But it's a dangerous stock, I think, to play with.
Yeah.
And considering
When
it
it
really
runs,
is
it really runs. It like just keeps
but
going.
in both directions.
Yeah.
In both directions. I mean, so I get just very nervous with that one
Not
because it
me,
took me a
Kevin.
while to build this position. I don't want to meet Kevin. He definitely what are we saying? You see, Heinze, you're bringing the arguments. No,
What are we
if you
saying?
catch the thing is, if you catch
Oh,
Vitaly one on one,
I
he's
don't know
not
what they're
really gonna.
saying. Vitaly challenged him. I did about what?
It was the thing with the him selling out his shares in
Yeah,
figure.
I didn't understand that argument because I was like, you have $700,000 and you take 50 grand off the table, you're a winner either way. Like, there's no. I took my Tesla profit. By the way, everything I spent on Tesla, I already took out. So I don't have any money in Tesla per se.
Right.
Everything is by the market, meaning paid for the market at this point.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that position because it was getting to be way too big in my brain for what I had in Tesla. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I did it earlier. That was at 250, 260. And like, oh, all this regrets. No, I mean, that's how it works. You know, I put it into something else. And maybe it's not doing as well as that, but that's the way it works. Uh, and the lesson I learned long ago, anyways, don't sell the whole position. So I don't know why that was even an argument. It was like, take 50 grand, move on with your life, and leave $650,000 still rolling.
No, I
Because
think I think like the argument that you were making would have made sense if that was a Palantir stock because he bought that with his own money and he was sitting his bag holding for a while and whatever. But Chris made a good point about the fact that you
the
were
relationship.
invited into this. You were invited into this. This is a privilege that you have to be
Yeah.
holding these shares and you're buying them as part of a group. So there's kind of you have to consider what the group would want. And
No, no, no.
also,
Okay, so if there is a situation where the group is meaning like he has to go talk to the group members, no way. Then I agree with you. You stick with the group because they brought you in. I think there's an open market for a lot of these. If he has the shares, meaning if you, I don't know if he actually does, whether he holds them or the other guy that he partnered with holds them. I have no idea. But for example, you can go right now in a private market and sell your shares without asking anybody's permission if you actually hold your shares. Does that make sense?
yeah.
That's what I was saying. If you control them, but no, if you have to go to somebody that brought you in and you're like, oh, please, sir, just 50,000 off the top.
Yeah.
Then okay, I understand. You don't want to take anything off because that does ruin that fucks with a relationship. I'm saying there's going to be a point where he's going to have the shares in his possession and it's still going to be private, and you can take a little bit off that covers your cost basis, and you don't have to worry about that.
But
That was my point.
But again, I think if we're talking about Palantir stock, that makes complete sense. But considering that there was an invite to be in, there's a bunch of other people involved. Even if they approve it, you're like the guy pulling out early when you're thinking of this is going to be a $5 trillion stock, right? Like that's the point you're getting into this. And Chris's other point about the fact that honestly, whatever money you're in and you're up or you're down, like just the fact that you are in this group of people,
Right.
there's a value to that. And when that matures, these gains will seem like nothing. He's got youth on his side. He's not even 30.
Yeah,
So
I guess I'm coming from experience where we saw a lot of our good stocks go all the way up, go all the way down. Like we rode the wave so many times. It's like, Jesus, I just want to
yeah.
get off this wave occasionally. Just
All
take
right.
something
All right.
off.
But right now, someone, say 2 years ago or a year ago, someone gives you the chance to buy 50 grand of SpaceX. I wouldn't sell a fucking share of that thing.
That's true. But once again, you're bringing up something that everybody knows already won. Like you're actually saying, hey, this is basically you're buying a monopoly. He's not buying a monopoly. He's buying a lotto ticket.
Considering the players that are behind it, the market's still going to decide who's number one and number two, but the money is deciding that they're going to be number two. Like, I don't think anyone
That's
refutes the
possible.
fact that Tesla is going to be number one.
That's
But with
possible. But
enough
you know
money,
who's number one. Once again, you and I know who's going to be number one there.
sure, but Tesla's now at a fucking at 1 point whatever trillion valuation, and you're looking at a company that's pre-IPO. So
What's a robot? What is the economy at that point when we have robots running around? Even Elon says you can't measure it.
well, you
Meaning
can't. No, you can't
the amount
measure
of
it. Like you need
profit.
to. You need to get out of trillions. Like now we're talking about what's after trillions,
Well, this is what I'm
quintillion. I mean,
saying.
what the
So
fuck is?
when we talk
It's an
about a 3 to
infinite.
5x, we talk about basically the car business, maybe FSD. We're not talking about the whole infrastructure of a planet Earth being taken over by robots. When that happens, it's like that company is $100 trillion, right?
Right.
That's basically the company. Should What is that sci-fi movie where the, the humans are the androids are the slaves? Big movie.
The androids are the slaves?
Yeah.
iRobot.
No, not iRobot. Way ago in the 70s. Somebody.
Oh, the robots are the slaves?
Yeah. Oh my God. They're human looking. They're cyborgs. Well, they look like humans. Anybody? Anybody there?
Are you thinking Battlestar Galactica?
No. God damn it. Harrison Ford was in it. Here's another clue. We're playing 50 questions. Harrison
Uh,
Ford.
I don't remember. Maybe I'm not that old. It actually makes me feel
Blade
good.
Runner. Oh my God. I can't believe that's a
Oh,
clue.
Blade. Okay, Blade Runner. I was
Okay.
thinking something different.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ. That took forever. Not Terminator, but Blade Runner.
Terminator,
So
yeah.
basically, Elon is that corporation in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. I'm
Yeah.
saying, wouldn't you want a piece of that Tyrell Corporation in Blade Runner?
Yes, but again, considering like the multiple that's possible, like for you to get the multiple that
Right. It's like
Figure could
100
get,
to 1,000x
it's
on
a,
that
I mean,
multiple.
if Tesla's not going to 1,000x in our lifetime, it's going to maybe
Yeah,
100x,
I believe
maybe,
you.
but it's not going to
I
1,000x
I agree with you, first
in
of
our
all. But
lifetime.
I
So
also think
you
a
also have to
10x is
consider
good.
Elon, if he achieves what he wants with the bot, I think his thing is he'll have like there'll be some there'll be a commercial version of the bot, and then there'll be some for like the consumer. But I think like Figure would want to be like the consumer only bot, right? Like we'll try to be the cheapest entry level model of like that bot, and just try to get that market. Because and to me, I think that would be a smart move. Is just go after one market and get yourself in there now early, and then create things where other people that have that bot can have new, features or things that it can do. Or if you have multiple, like find a way of creating a system where once people buy one, it just automatically creates multiple sales, and you can entrench yourself and become that bot. Like, I don't think Optimus is going to be the bot that's in Macy's helping you shop, but maybe the Figure bot's going to be the one that's in Macy's being like your personal shopper. The Optimus bot's going to be in factories and it'll be in people's homes. But I don't know that that's going to be the one in the commercial. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I do think that no one company is going to have a majority share of all the different applications of what that bot's going to be worth, right? So
Yeah.
you're smart, get in on one early. Like my thing is like, if you had access to that equipment, I would make a fucking moving company. I would get like 10 bots that are going to move you from one house to the other, and some cyber trucks and all that, you know what I mean? And we're going to just move you, and just, that's it. Send the bots out, and moving companies are done. That's it. And you have a bunch of 10 bots that are just going out and moving people all day.
I think it's incredibly hard to hit escape velocity. So I don't know if this is the company that survives, even though there's a lot of people behind it. That's true. A lot of big companies, but it's hard to imagine building humanoid robots. And plus, you can't just build a humanoid robot. You have to have the intelligence infrastructure to build that. And Tesla, once again, has been working on that for the last decade. So my point is, sometimes like the obvious winner, it doesn't seem sexy, right?
I know.
And
Keep
yeah,
saying
maybe it's only a
Tesla.
10x in the obvious winner, and it's not 100,000x. But not to put any of your like winnings from the underdog is like, I think, sort of lunacy to me. It's like me and you only buying Dogecoin and not having any Bitcoin. It's literally the same thing.
I hear what you're saying, but the dude's made money. He
Oh yeah,
made
yeah,
he
yeah,
got
yeah. And
listen,
the
he
thing
got
is,
Palantir right.
oh, he
He
got
got
three. He
Robinhood
got
right.
three right. No,
Got,
absolutely.
he got him right,
And no one said sell it once again. That's the premise was always take 50 grand out if you control your shares, not if you're ruining relationships, nothing like that. It was more like take the 50, take the 100, put it into Tesla, and now you have the horse. Well, maybe that horse.
Listen, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but considering the structure of that deal, I completely understand why
I don't know the structure. You're
just
right.
fucking leave it. Just leave it. Let it ride. Talk to your homies. Celebrate when you're up. Console each other when you're down. When it IPOs, dump whatever. Just follow the herd. Dump whatever.
Well, no,
they
you're
dump on
right,
the
because
market.
even on the way to failure, for example, I was in oh fuck, I already forgot them. Arcimoto.
Yeah.
Even on the way to failure, we went through
36.
a 50x, a 5,000% whatever it was. It was
No,
like
go from
$2,
50. It was a 50
50
million or
cent, right?
$25 million market cap that went
Yeah,
to 2 billion
yeah.
for a few
And
days.
what was my mistake?
You just held it.
That was my mistake.
You just held it. Yeah, but
Exactly.
no, but at that point, it had already
And
IPO'd. It
what
was
was my
already
mistake in 2018 when Bitcoin hit 20,000 and I was loaded?
but again, that's you holding your private investment for you. That's not like you have a
I
whole
know, but
group
you
of
see what I'm
people.
saying, right? Like
Yeah,
these mistakes have as you get older. First of all, when you're younger, it's okay. Yeah, I made a mistake. They
yeah.
compound as you get older, and you're like, yeah, I probably should have sold some of that. And that's why I sold Tesla at 250, 260, by the way, because I was like, okay, I have enough, even with the rest of it, to be fine. That was my thinking. And maybe my thinking now is obviously different now at my age of 47, almost 47, by the way, than it is being, 27, obviously. That's 20 years difference. So at 27, I was risking everything too. So I lived, I remember the old times when I did that. And now I know me and I'm like, I wish the old me took some fucking money.
Right. But if the old you was invested in like a pre-IPO company with the chance of like
Yeah.
1,000x with the day it IPOs, you know what I mean?
Once again, okay, assuming you control the shares, you control them. Okay.
Yeah. I
Nobody
don't
else.
think he does. I don't
No,
think
no,
he
but
does.
let's assume you. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
You control the shares. Okay. You have 700,000 sitting in some stock, whatever, private or not. You have 700,000 from 20,000, 25,000. What would you do?
No, me personally, what I would do if I held those shares and they
I
were
know.
mine and there was no social backlash from the group of
Yeah,
people that got invested in,
absolutely.
I would definitely put some money on the side. I
How much would you
definitely
take
would.
out?
I don't know. I mean, from 20,000 to 25,000 to 700, I would probably do 100.
Yeah, that's a
That's
very
probably what
reasonable
I would
amount.
do. And I
And
would
wouldn't
say, once I take this money out, I would probably say to myself, I don't know, depending on if I'm in his situation where I'm like, well, am I
no, no,
living in
your
a country
situation. I mean, think about. I'm not asking him.
what I
We already know what he's doing.
no, knowing what I know now, what I would probably do is I would take that money out and I would create a separate portfolio to just invest the shit out of that money. That's what I would probably do with it. I'm not going to go, I wouldn't buy a house. I wouldn't pay any debts. I would say this money is now going to go to work over here. Because you still have $600,000. Like it's
Right,
not it's a
this is
fucking
what
lot of
I'm
money.
saying.
Like 20 grand is a lot of money.
Okay, so let's move on. Anyway, he's young. He has all the time in the world to make mistakes. First of all, he lives with his parents, which is I'm saying that as a positive because that gets him out of a lot of trouble. If anything bad
Hmm.
happens, there's really you can't fall far. His bed is
But
right there.
he did post that he's one of his goals for the year is to move out. So we're gonna see him in a freaking dope ass luxury building with a gym and a pool and freaking,
Well, I did talk to him about that.
barbecues.
He should buy his own house and use part of it as an actual business, having a studio there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That should be
And if he can get like a two family where he rent out the
four
upstairs and
family,
live in the
six
one,
family.
if he
Like
can
all of a
afford it,
sudden,
but if he can
he has a
afford
reason to like make profit on the rental income and have a
it.
studio in the
Sure,
place.
sure.
Uh, I do want to share this. I want to see if I could bring it up. Hold on a second.
Somebody's saying, what's your take on Enphase now? Is it a good time to start a position? I sold five $80 puts expiring in January. Not bad. That's a smart move, Rumi.
Hold on. Let me see
Buying
if I
some
can.
puts at $80. That's not a bad idea.
Do you see this?
Yeah. Wind Diesel Cybertruck durability test.
Did you see this?
What, when he broke it?
Yeah, yeah. This is part two.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
So just check out this part, which was I thought was interesting, a throwback to what Elon did. Let me know if you hear the sound. Do you hear
Yeah.
the sound?
Yeah.
So before the Cybertruck came out, Tesla did a tug of war between the Cybertruck and the F-150, which kind of spawned this whole series since they wanted to claim that the Cybertruck was better. Now let's start things off with a nice, even, friendly tug of war. We ended the last one with 5-4. Both trucks weigh exactly the same amount. We've calculated and put extra weight in the bed of the F-150. We have a really sticky drag strip. Elon Musk says electric motors also have insane torque. If we load both trucks to the max, electric still wins. Let's see what can do truck things and what can't. To the floor. Oh wait. No. Hey, hold up. Stop. No. Wait. No. I'm dragging his. I am dragging his. Oh yeah. Okay. Wow, it's pulling it back. Wait, they're kind of fighting.
Tie.
No. Wait. I'm losing. To the floor.
Oh my God, look at the F-150. The suspension is bottom.
It's so even.
That's hysterical.
All right. Anyone can watch it. It's this guy's a
He
big
bottomed
channel.
him
What was
out.
his name? His name is Whistling Diesel.
Yeah, he's a bit of a, I don't know. He's a bit of a D word.
Well, maybe, but that was a pretty fair test. He made
Yeah.
the weights the same. He put tacky substance like tar or whatever.
No,
So
that's drag strip. Like a drag strip has that. It's
oh,
that.
that's already there.
Yeah, you
Okay.
know how they torch it and like they make it really.
I didn't really do that.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay.
what they do.
So,
that-
but I'm saying it seemed pretty even with the F-150 and the Cybertruck in that case.
It did, but you know, the original test that Elon did wasn't fair because the Cybertruck was in 4-wheel drive, I think a tri-motor 4-wheel drive, and the
Mhm.
F-150 was a rear-wheel drive, so that was automatically not
Oh.
going to work. So this one, I don't know. I didn't see all 4 wheels spinning on the F-150. You know, I
So
didn't.
you're saying it wasn't a 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to watch the video again, but I don't know that the F-150 was in 4-wheel drive. The other thing is they added weight to the F-150 in order to make it weigh the same as the Cybertruck.
Right.
But the Cybertruck's weight is distributed evenly across the 4 tires. That weight was sitting on the back of the rear
Well,
tires.
sort of in the
So,
center though, but it was in the
Huh?
center. I mean, it was close to the back end of it, so maybe
yeah,
it
but
was.
it's still not. It's still not like here's a funny story. So I was driving the other day. Oh man, and I was coming back with my daughter, and there's like a spot where you have to make like a pretty sharp, like right angle turn, and there's only 2 lanes to make them, and you got to really stay in your lane. And as I was making that turn, someone kind of creeped into my lane, so I cut the corner a little more than I normally would, and I hit my right rear tire on the curb as I went around. Didn't think anything of it. I looked, and I actually ended up scratching those gorgeous rims of mine. I'm so pissed. Whatever.
I just did something similar.
I was so pissed off that I scratched those rims, and then let me just pull it up. Hold on. So then I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to work that out. I'll see if I can, grind it down and maybe fix it. And then that Saturday, we had a nanny. And so I was like, I told my wife, let's take advantage of that. Let's just go out and do some runs, like you and me by ourselves. And I go to make a left turn, and I go left, and my right rear tire just continues going straight. And the whole car just crashed down on the back.
My God.
So the wheel.
Wait, how did that come off?
It just flew off the nuts. It ripped because when I hit it, apparently now that I realize when I hit that curb, it hit at the bottom of the tire. So it jacked it,
man.
jacked it in. And I guess it pushed out some of the bolts. So now the bolts were ripping through its own threads. So the wheel was kind of loose. And I was driving it around Friday. So like it's Saturday in the afternoon now. I make a left turn, and I'm making a left turn, and I see my wheel going straight. And I'm like, that's interesting.
That's also dangerous. What did it hit?
Huh?
What did the tire hit?
Oh no, the tire went straight, ended up jumping a curb and crashing into where it was, where you see it, where I ended up finding it. And
I mean, that could have hit a car, a person. I mean,
yeah, no, it
anything.
could have hit a car or a person, but there it is sitting on the side. It ripped out the fender wall too. You could see it ripped out the fender wall. So now I'm sitting there, and this is me. Saturday. There we are. Truck is we had to put the wheel back on, jacked it up, and had to get the wheel back on so we could drag it up. It was a whole process. It was from 2 p.m.
So it didn't strip the actual
it stripped
just the bolts.
Yeah, these bolts are like this freaking long.
I know, but
it ripped the bolts right through the threads.
Damn.
And I actually went back walking around. I found 3 of them, and I was like, okay, we got to get this thing back on. He's like, I got to get it on, because we got to roll this thing up to the flatbed. It's like, all right, cool. So we get it on. We jack up the car. We get the wheel on. We get the bolts somewhat tightened. We drag it up, and it's on. Take it to the tire guy, because a day before that, on that Thursday, I'm driving back same route, and tire pressure is supposed to be 42. I get home, and as soon as I get home, tire pressure goes from 42 to 36, and light turns yellow. I'm like, fuck, I ran over something. I look outside, I got a 3-inch nail in that same tire. So I went to the guy, he patched it, and it was fine. The next day, hit the curb. Then Saturday, the wheel falls off, and I'm like, this is not my fucking year. And so I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, we'll figure it out. He tightens the bolts back on, and he goes, dude, you got to take it easy. Because when we had the car on the flatbed, I looked underneath. In order for me to not be in the middle of traffic, I had to drive the car, dragging it on the suspension. So I dragged it maybe 15 feet to get into a place where the car was safe. Now, when we get the car on the lift and we get the wheel back on as it was dragging it up. I'm looking, bro, the lower, what are they called? The lower control arm and the
Yeah, isn't
stabilizer
it
bar
fucked?
is grinded like halfway down.
I mean, you got to change that.
Absolutely. So I'm like, all right, I got to go get this thing repaired, take it to the tire shop. He gets the bolts back on. He goes, look, the bolts are on, number one. They're stripped out from being ripped off, number one. Number two, look at that lower control arm. It's shaved. And the bolt that was on holding it with the, the bushing into the stabilizer bar was screwed on, but it was literally cut in half. So I'm like, you got to be really careful driving this because any one bump could just shatter the thing.
So
Like, all right, fine.
is he going to fix it?
Yeah, so this was Saturday. He goes, I'm going to order those new bolts. As soon as you get the new screws and you get the wheel on, then we'll take it to Tesla and they'll fix the upper and lower control arms, whatever it was. I was like, okay, cool, fine.
Why don't you just take the whole thing? Let them deal with the entire.
Because what do you mean?
Let them fix everything. Have it towed straight to Tesla.
Well, I couldn't because Tesla is like, you can't just take the car to
Right.
them.
You need to make an appointment. That's
Like
in 2 years.
You got to do it through the app. It's not as easy to just send the car to them. And I was risking taking it to them and then being like, we can't take this. And mind you, it's a $250 just tow truck. Now I got to pay.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, take it to the guy. He's like, look, I got it on there. Be careful. It's cool. Now, this is Saturday. And I'm like, look, I got to take my kids to school. Like, I need a car. I can't be without a car. So I'm going to take it easy, whatever. Sunday, take it easy on the car. Monday, take it easy on the car. When was New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve was whatever day New Year's Eve was, the 31st. So now it's the 31st. Driving all over town. Everything's cool. And we're getting towards the end of our errands that day. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to UPS. I got to mail out some gifts. But in order to get there, I had to make a big U-turn in the middle of this intersection. So I made a U-turn. And as I'm backing up, boom, car falls down again. Now it's here. Okay. And this time I'm like, fuck, the bolts failed. This is bullshit. So I call the tire guy. I'm like, yo, these bolts failed again. I was like, I'm taking the car to you. You're keeping it. I can't touch it. And then I look, let me see if I got the picture. I look and it actually, the bolts were fine. The lower control arm failed and broke, shattered completely.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It couldn't take the weight. When I went backwards, I was on a slight incline. Most of the weight ended up on that right rear tire and it just snapped. So as we're dragging it up, now mind you, the wheel is still on, but it's now digging into the wheel well. And at a certain point, this was amazing to see. I wish
I'm
I had
seeing dollar signs. That's all I'm seeing right now.
I wish I had this moment on video. He's dragging the Model X up the thing, and the tow truck does a full 45-degree wheelie from the weight of the Model X.
Oh, geez.
I couldn't believe. I was like, that's how freaking heavy. Let me see if I got it on video. Let me see what we got here. Tell me if you can hear this.
That's some crazy shit.
Let's see if I can hear it.
Oh, yeah, it's grinding against there.
Oh, yeah, it was grinding, but why don't I hear the... Oh, there we go.
Well, here we go again. The car's gonna get towed again.
Right, here we go. All right, here we go.
With the fucking tire.
Wait, that's the Y, isn't it?
That's the X.
I thought you gave back the X.
No, I gave back the X, sold the Y, and then bought a new X.
Car's gonna get towed
What?
again.
Yeah, I got a new one.
Oh, the cheaper one? When it fell after.
I returned the X, the X that I had. I returned. It was too much money per month for what I was using it for. I was like, this is a ridiculous expense. I could be putting $1,500 into Tesla a month.
Yeah.
And still have money left over.
And you waited for the price to drop.
Right. So I waited for the price to drop. I returned the vehicle to Tesla. That was fine. That was great. They were great about that. Returned that. Then I periodically checked the value of the Y on Carvana. And it had a particular spike one week that like Model Ys were just like really valuable that week. Okay. And I said, this is the week. So I went to sell the car with Carvana and I started looking at Model X's because for me, my lifestyle.
So then you had no cars.
No. Well, I had the Model Y. We still had the Model Y. So I went to Carvana and I was looking, I was like, all right, this is cool. So I started the process to sell it on Carvana. But in the meantime, I needed to have a car. So I was like, I'm going to go get a Model X and I'm going to use the money that I make off the sale of the Y as my down payment and basically just switch keys.
Right.
So when I went to the dealership, I found this Model X. It was good, like low mileage, great.
A used Model X.
Yeah, used Model X. These rims are like $7,000 a piece. This is why I'm so sad that they broke. I mean, look at those rims. Those rims they're Lamborghini rims. And so I was like, okay, I'm getting a good deal on this because the dealership didn't really know what they had. So and it had FSD. It comes with a full FSD.
Shit.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this car. So I did my test drive. Everything was cool. I get the car, and then So he was like, "Oh, you know, how do you want to pay for this?" I was like, "Well, can you hold the car for me for a week because I got to sell it to Carvana?" And he goes, "What is Carvana offering you?" I show him the thing. He goes, "I'll give you that money for it right now." He's like, "Forget Carvana. Let me just buy it for you at that price." I was like, "Okay." So he literally paid off the car. I made something like 5 or 6 grand, ended up putting that on the Model X, and now I'm only paying $200 more a month than I was paying for the Model Y, and I have a Model X with, I don't know,
FSD.
$7,000 rims on it and FSD.
Right.
So I came out all right, but this wheel thing was my fault. I hit that curb and I should have went whatever. But here it is going up. Let me see.
Yet again with the fucking tire.
I'm pissed. Kicked it.
Yeah, those rims look expensive.
Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Hold on. This is it.
You have no idea how heavy a Tesla is. It just lifted this thing off the ground.
Oh, this
Oh,
looks like right up.
you missed the
Look at
part?
it.
Or?
Look at it.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
Jesus.
Holy schmoles. Wow.
Heavy as so
Yeah.
freaking heavy. And then this was me in the car. This is me just being a douche.
Oh,
I'm like,
wait,
this is what it looks like as thousands of dollars goes into the air and evaporates.
he let you ride in the back there?
Yeah, I rode to the top, and I'm just like, this is what thousands of dollars looks like floating out of your freaking wallet to just get back what you already had on
There
Thursday.
you go. We do it all for
I
you
should
guys.
have, Tesla. I should have. I should have. But anyway, so that's like my current thing. So now I had to, and then so now this happens on January 31st. So I call my company and I'm like, yo, do you guys offer, do I have any roadside assistance? He's like, well, we can help you get a tow truck, but since it wasn't an accident, we don't cover the rental. So I was like, okay, I'll have to work whatever. I'm one of those like enterprise star tier members, so I get good deals on them. So I call them up and I'm like, yo, I need a car. I need it basically indefinitely. And they're like, all right, cool. Everybody closes at 4 today because it's New Year's Eve. And I was like, bro, I got to pick my kids up at 5 and the tow truck's not even here. And he's like, sorry, nothing I can do. And I was like, all right, I'll just go tomorrow morning. He goes, no, everything's closed tomorrow because it's New Year's Day. And I'm like, dude, what am I going to do? So anyway, they ended up saying the only place that's
Uber,
open.
man.
No, dude, Ubers would have been more than the car rental to go back and forth with 2 car seats and shit. So I was like, look, I said, where can I get a car? I need a car. And he's like, you got to go to the airport. That's the only place that's open because people come off planes and they need a car. So you got to get yourself to an airport, whatever. So towed the car to the tire guy. He took the car and then I had to go to the airport. Then I rented a car. I'm driving a fucking Buick junk right now. It's garbage, these cars.
How far are you falling?
It was horrible. And whatever, I got a pretty good deal on it. But now I talked to the guy today and he's like, yo, basically you got to replace the whole assembly. You got to do everything. It's going to be, I don't know how much it's going to cost. Me and my wife have a bet. I think it's going to be 45. She thinks it's going to be 35. So I was like, all right, we'll see. So that's
your axle is not bent though.
No.
You got lucky. I bent the axle once.
The axle, like there's no axle. There isn't a traditional axle.
Isn't there?
Not in a Tesla. No, well, it depends. I mean, what you're thinking of an axle was like an old.
Well, it's a dual motor.
70s.
Yeah, and it's whatever it's spinning. It doesn't the bar linkage connect.
That would be a drive shaft, but like an axle would be that connects both tires to each other.
And they don't have that.
No, it's like independent. It's like wishbone suspension versus the single. So
is the Model Y the same?
Yeah, they're the same. Even with the dual, they're the same. It's like they have independent, they can move independently. So when the guy called me today, he goes, yo, I finally lifted your car up. And I looked underneath it. He was like, yo, these Teslas are strong as fuck, man. He goes, no damage to the battery, no damage to anything. Really just that. So think about it. That lower control arm supported the entire weight of the car, dragging it for like 15 feet and it grounded down maybe about half an inch. He's like,
that's good. It actually saved everything else.
It saved, yeah. It's because if I would have gone, if I was on the highway at 60, 70 miles an hour, 100% that car would have caught fire. 100% it would have caught fire because the stabilizer and the lower control arm would have been gone in 10 seconds, not even 5 seconds. It's gone. Then you're grinding on the body and then you hit the battery pack. So I'm pretty sure that they would have been a fire if I was going that fast.
It must have been worse, way worse than an accident.
It was crazy. But no, that was like that was my weekend. So now I'm driving this piece of junk freaking Buick and I'm just like, whatever. So I just was like, you know what? I can't wait for 2024 to be over because literally on the last fucking day, it was like, fuck you. I'm going to get you one last time. And now I'm going to pay, I don't know how many thousands of dollars to just have the car that I had last Thursday before I hit that freaking curb, with a
I mean,
scratch.
shit happens. At least everybody's all right. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. That's one thing. Even my wife was good. She was very good about like being like, look at the positive. Like both times that this thing happened, we were less than a mile from the tire place. And we drove up to like 15, 20 miles away that day.
Right.
Like it could have snapped anywhere. It could have snapped on the way to pick up the kids. No, it snapped at like 1 or 2. So even with all the car services and everything that I had to do, I still made it on time to pick up the kids. They were just like, Papa, why is your car weird? And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'll tell you the story one day. But yeah, the fact that it happened both times, like less than a mile from the guy or like a mile away, I'm like, saved me a lot of money, right? Because it only you have to tow it 4
Right.
minutes.
Right.
And and I was close to home. So I was like, you know what? I gotta be grateful. Because it could have been way worse. It could happen on the highway. I mean, that would have been.
And
Oh my
honestly,
God.
you sell a couple of shares of Tesla, it pays for the Tesla.
Yeah, no, and that's part of the plan. I mean, my Doge position, I'm like, at some point, I'm gonna just trim a little bit of that and probably just pay it off. But I'm thinking now, I don't know. I'm thinking now maybe just like the karma, maybe I just like fix the car back and then sell it and get another one. But anyway, my point is this: if you have a new Tesla, like these used Teslas, bro, like there are some great deals on on a year older or 2 years older
That's
Tesla
true.
that are these cars. I mean, what's the difference in a Model Y between a 30,000 miles and 40,000 miles? One change of washer fluid and maybe a little wear on your tires.
Right.
That's it, dude. You're not running through transmission fluid or oils. Like miles on a Tesla are not the same as miles on a gas car. And so who cares if it's got a couple more miles than the one you have? Get the exact car you want. I wanted the car. I wanted the gold wing doors. My wife's mom's coming to visit. There's no way I could get 5 adults or 4 adults in the Model Y with 2 car seats. It was just not going to happen. So I was like, you know what? I need an X, and I'm happy. I'm happy that I did it.
And you got a better price anyway for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I ended up paying $44,000 for a Model X with, I mean, and these rims, from what the guy was telling me when he saw those rims at the tire shop, he's like, do you know what you have on this car? I was like, no. And he's like, those are $7,000 a piece.
Oh, geez.
I was like, what? So now I'm crying that the rim is scratched. He's like, these are fucking Lamborghini rims, dude.
That guy probably sold at the bottom of Tesla being 100.
Right. But I'm saying, like, who the hell is this guy in Arizona that had so much money? He put $32,000.
Oh no, he bankrupt now. That's what happened. He got his car taken away.
Whatever. But I'm just like, all right, then I got his car, and I'm like, okay, now that I know what's in the car, I could sell it probably for more just because relatively low miles, FSD. And it's got these amazing rims with like the custom yellow calipers. So it's like,
what? I might upgrade myself to an X then if it's like 40 grand.
Absolutely, dude.
Do you still get a tax credit?
No, when they're used, no.
No, there is some tax credit if they're used too.
There's
I think it's half.
Oh no, but if you buy it from Tesla, that's different. I looked on Tesla's website and
No, I think it's an EV. I think it's
they didn't have much of a selection. Tesla didn't have. I bought this one from a private company, which for those I would say like really do a solid test drive, because a lot of these, like for example, when I got in the car, they had charged it to 100%. These dealerships don't even know.
They don't know what to do, right?
Like they just plug it in and charge it. Like the guy didn't even like this one has like a ludicrous mode, which is like the plaid mode.
Right. Every day he's like, top it off, baby.
And I'm like, dude, you're killing this. So like they don't know how to even like sell Tesla. So I would just do a little bit more research. But if you get it from Tesla, I mean, like there is, and whatever, people sound off in the chat. There is no reason to own a Model Y when a Model X exists. It is the perfect vehicle.
I think the difference is Tesla gives you, I think it's 7 or 10 year, I forget exactly, but the battery and powertrain warranty. So I don't think those guys are giving you the same 7 to 10 years, right?
No, but if you get one, like what year is your car? 2021? Maybe you buy
2022. So
right,
I have.
If you found a 2022 Model X, you'll still have, this one has a warranty up to 50,000 miles, and it had just crossed 50.
I know. Who's covering the warranty though? Is it still Tesla? I don't know who's covering that.
Yeah, there's an original manufacturer's warranty, but the powertrain and battery go up to 100,000 miles. It's just like the full coverage of the car. Anything goes wrong. But a lot of these dealerships, they will upsell you, which I bought full coverage on the car. So I basically had to pay a little bit more money, maybe $2,000 to get full coverage on the car
how
for the
long?
life of the time. For the time that I own it, like maybe for another 4 years or 5 years, I
Oh,
it gets
it's
extended.
probably limited. It's like 3 to
Right.
5 years, somewhere there.
But I'm not gonna end up keeping that car for, I'm gonna keep the car probably for 2 years. I think I'll get bored of it, and I'll either get a Cybertruck, I think at that point, maybe I'll pick up a used Cybertruck, or maybe at that point, I'll just buy a new one because they
Right.
now qualify for the tax
Well,
incentive.
I'm waiting for all those guys to sell theirs for like 40 grand. That's what's gonna happen. You know, it's
I
gonna happen.
mean, I
Version
test
2
drove
comes out.
a Cybertruck. I test drove the dual motor. Man, I waited a long time in line to drive this thing, and I gotta say, it's a completely different driving experience than even driving an X. It feels really light for a car that
Mhm.
big, and the turning, it's so hard to get used to the fact that you just spin and the freaking thing goes.
Right.
It's like, anyway, there's a lot of great deals on used Teslas. Like, you don't need to go out and spend, you don't need to pay that premium on taking it out with 0 miles. Let someone else take it out with 0 miles and take advantage of the
Right.
fact that
And you
there's
can save 30
relatively
grand for like someone driving it.
instantly,
Right.
and take advantage of the fact that there's very little wear and tear on an EV in the same way that there is an ICE vehicle. So the only thing I've noticed is that, and this could just be a function of the battery pack, is that the mileage is a little bit less than my old Model X. Like, the actual real world mileage is a little bit less than what I was getting. Like, I find myself charging it a little bit more than I did the old Model X. But I don't know if that's a function of the year that it was made, or
Well,
how many
that does
miles it has,
happen.
battery
Like,
degradation. I don't know.
I do have, I forgot, I don't know, I measured the percentage. I forgot, it was like, it's like 5% to 7% from
Lost?
2022 to now. Yes. So
That's
I used to get 316 miles. Well, we can work it out right now, but 316 was when I bought it.
Yeah.
I think now I get 298, something
It
like
actually gives you a different number?
it's max now 298. I do not get 316 miles anymore if I fill it up.
No, but I didn't realize that it did that. I thought in order for you to see the battery degradation, there's a mode you can go into in service mode where it's like a 24-hour test. You got to leave the car for 24 hours, and it like checks every
No.
cell, and then it gives you a percentage of how
Well,
much.
I'm saying maybe that
degradation.
does that too, but I can't charge it to 316 miles like I did on day one.
That's weird.
Yeah.
'Cause
So now I do get less
notice.
range, but don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the range. It's still 300 miles. If you do fill it up, is plenty enough for everything I do. You know what I'm saying?
Rob here, 722. Maybe it's because they were charging it to 700 to 100%. That's true. That could be it.
Maybe
That
they
they
did
were
it too much.
that the dealer
All right.
was charging it for a month.
All right. I do got to go. So thank you everybody for joining us. We'll try to do more of these, of course, and maybe give some notice.
Yeah, and thanks, Laura. And
Happy New Year, Carlos, and everybody in the
Yeah,
chat.
Happy New Year, everybody. And I want to say thank you to Laura. I've been getting a lot of compliments on this new haircut. You like my little
Is
I
that
was
your
so
wife?
back, now I'm going forward. We're going to the moon.
It's happy to 2025.
Happy 20,025, folks. It's going to be a kick-ass millennia.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good year, by the way. So
I think so
I'm
too.
looking
But
forward to it.
I'm calling it January 21st pullback.
Oh no, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a pre-pullback, but there's going to be a real pullback. January 21st.
And I'm not going to forget to sell in July, by the way.
Right.
So I'm ready.
Oh,
that button's ready to be ET
Thank you, ET FaceTime. I forgot. I'm going to like and subscribe. I got to
Yes, like and subscribe. We do have a Discord as well. So it's a Freelancer Finance Discord. It's somewhere. I'm going to put in plenty of videos. You guys can find it if you're interested.
And thank you too, Tesla. I'm gonna look for you to slide into my DMs, and we'll talk some Bitcoin recovery.
Yeah, and we'll talk NFX next time because that's been popping. So we'll
yeah. I actually got to sit back and I got to listen to like the last earnings call and just see how bad it actually was. But
same thing here.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace. Bye.